Good evening. I'm Ken Hines, and today we're going to solve the SAT 8/ACT problem number 1. If the numbers 70 and 105 are both multiples of a prime number n, how many possible values are there for n? Well, first we need to talk about what is a prime number. And a prime number is a number that is divisible by itself and 1. No other numbers. It does not divide evenly by any other number. For example, 5 is a prime number. 6 is divisible by 1 and 6, but it's not a prime number because it is also divisible by 2. 2 times 3 equals 6. And what is a multiple? Well, a multiple is just when you skip count by a number. If you skip count by 2's, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. 4, 6, 8, and 10 are all multiples of 2. In the same way, 5, 10, 15, 20. When you count by 5's, you find that also 10 and 15 and so on are multiples of 5. Another way of looking at it is that they are multiples of 5 are numbers that are divisible evenly by 5. 35 is a multiple of 5 because 5 times 7 equals 35. The reason we need to know this, the reason this is important, is that it's used especially in reducing fractions. For example, 70 divided by 105 reduces to 2/3, and that's the way that we use the fractions. We don't talk about 70 over 105. And reducing lets us make things simple, and using multiples allows us to use shortcuts. And the reason admission officers test for this is that they want to know if you can model with math and if you can use shortcuts with math in order to solve problems. They know through experience that in college you're going to have lots of problems, not just math problems, but all sorts of problems, and you're going to need to budget your time and budget your money and solve all kinds of problems. And they have found that people who can model with math and use math for shortcuts are ones who are able to solve the problems, and that's why they admit people who do well in math on the SAT to their colleges. Okay, so how do we solve this problem? So 70 and 105 are both multiples of a prime number n. In other words, they are divided evenly by a number. So what are the factors of 70 is another way of looking at it. We know that 70 is an even number because it ends in 0, so it's divisible by 2. You divide 70 by 2, you get 35, and we know that 5 times 7 equals 35. So 70 is a multiple of 2, 5, and 7. No other numbers. 2, 5, and 7. In the same way, 105 is divisible by 5 because it ends in a 5. A number that ends in 5 or 0 is divisible by 5. You divide 105 by 5, you get 21, and 3 times 7 equals 21. So the factors of 105 are 3, 5, and 7. No other numbers. 105 is also divisible by 3. You could add the digits 1, 0, and 5 together, and you get 6. And if that sum is divisible by 3, you know that the number is divisible by 3. 105 is divisible by 3. The factors are 3, 5, and 7. So factors of 70 are 2, 5, and 7. Factors of 105 are 3, 5, and 7. And so the question now, we have to revisit the question, how many possible values are there for n? And the answer is 2. 5 and 7 are both multiples, or 70 is a multiple of 5 and 7, and 105 is a multiple of 5 and 7. So that's the answer, and people who write these tests use answer choices, and they give you what are called distractors. False answers to distract you. Don't be distracted by the distractor. Just look at the question and you'll see that the answer is 2. It won't be 3 or 5 or 7 or 35, only 2. You prove that you're smart by not being distracted.